Here we go. Okay. We are live today. And I just wanted to take a moment and welcome Joe and Chris Ferzoco to Facebook Live here today.
Facebook Live.
Facebook Live.
Right.
I wanted to invite you powerhouse real estate agents from New Jersey to come aboard and talk with us today. And thanks for taking time out of your schedules to do it.
Sure.
For people that don't know you, you guys got quite a little track record in your marketplace, right? So who wants to say where from and how long in business? Who wants to team lead that dialogue?
I think when you look at it, so we're in southern New Jersey, so we're in the Cape County and Atlantic County areas. For those that don't know, it's pretty much south of Atlantic City. It's pretty much predominantly where we cover. And so we're along the shorelines predominantly, and we also do the primary market as well. So we're not just limited to shore homes, investment properties, and that luxury second home life, but we do primary homes as well. We've been now in business since 2004. So we've been just right into our 17th, pretty much right now is our 17th year's beginning. So, yeah.
And you sell a lot of real estate in your area. You guys do what, 150 homes a year or so between the two of you?
Yeah, I'd say that we average. We're 150 is like the floor, Michelle, at this point. That's the minimum expectation per se. But yeah, we do cover a lot of ground and sell a lot of real estate. That's the goal, right? So
yeah, and that's no easy task because you guys are in a lot of second home market. Like a lot of properties that you sell are beach houses, right?
Yes. It's funny because like Chris always says, like, you talk about, you look at the Garden State Parkway that runs north and south, and it's like, okay, great, we cover this big circle. The problem is this half of the circle, it's water. So, we don't sell boats, so there's a whole part of our area that, we can't even tap into, unless we're, like I said, jet skis and boats and stuff like that. So maybe we'll do that at some point in time.
Maybe sell some households or something.
Something else to do.
There you go.
Yeah. Right. So little toys instead of big toys, right? That's what we'll do. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, 17 years in the business, and the floor is 150 units a year for you guys. Brothers crushing it in dominating a market. You have a big name for yourself that you've built over 17 years in the business.
Yep.
And you recently decided to make the move to come over to eXp Realty.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
And this was not an easy or fast decision for you. Like, you've been thinking about this for a while.
2 years, Chris. 2 years, like
2 years. Yeah. We thought about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
2 years in the making.
Yeah.
So
it was.
What did you see 2 years ago, and then and that piqued your interest? I'm going to take you back like 2 years ago to when it first originated for you guys.
Wow. Well, Chris, 2 years ago, we had a lot of guys. You can speak to this. Just had some people, from our coaching, Michelle, which is obviously how we met you many, many years ago, that, really kind of, talk to Chris about it. Chris, do you want to talk a little bit about that? And those guys and are kind of, peeked around the curtain, a couple years ago.
It's pretty much how it was. We were introduced. We were at some different events and whatnot, and it was brought to our attention about this company and just kind of like the format. The previous company that we were with had, they had done a lot with regards to like profit sharing, right? So we were familiar with the concept. So it was like, okay, so they were just saying, look, here's a company that's been around now. It's young, but it's been around now for several years, and this is going to be the next big thing, right? This is the next big company, and start talking about platforms and start talking about the technology behind the company, plus the bonuses that I'm sure we're going to be discussing when it comes to the revenue sharing and stocks, et cetera. And it was like, you really need to start taking a look at this. And honestly, what happened was on the East Coast, it was virtually just unheard of. Versus the capacity that it was in the West Coast, right? So it was definitely that wave that came west and east.
Correct.
So we have recently had made a move. We had a couple other things that were already had happened for us. just within about 2 years or so prior to that. So we weren't necessarily like ready to make a move. We weren't necessarily even looking. It was just something that presented itself, and we were like, oh, well, let's have a conversation. Let's look into it. So long story short, we did. We started to look into it. We started to watch and just kind of say, okay, what is this going to do? What's the direction it's going to take? Is there validity behind it? And then with that, Michelle, the way that we're really the way we structure our team was, would that work for us? And at the time, we just weren't prepared. I would say we weren't really prepared to make that change based upon what we needed for our team.
Yeah, the team was.
So we just waited at that point.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
More about the brick and mortar, Michelle, that aspect of it. We're very, like you are, having our team where, we actually have, our team in 2 offices. So it was kind of like this, like how would we do that type of thing, So then it was just, we just kind of kept moving along. And then I would say that probably last summer, Chris, right? Like September, like August, September.
Yeah.
Michelle, you and I had a couple of conversations, texts and all that kind of stuff. And I think, what was it, like November? I sent you that text and I'm like, let's have this conversation and don't worry about selling me on this type of thing. We're ready. Like it's time, and it's time because it's just the evolution. It's like, okay, this is next for the Ferzoco group. This is next for Chris and I, and and even our team, because we would never put our team, our members of our team in a bad position. We would never do that for them. And you and I had some awesome conversations, about EXP and just everything that they have to offer now for our customers, our clients, and even for us, like just the future down the road, that's massive for us. How this is going to be able to be presented to us, 4 or 5 years. What's this going to look like 4 or 5 years down the road? And it's just really exciting. And I think that's the positiveness about coming over. That was the big kicker for us.
And I think too, Michelle, what was interesting with the pandemic, like so many of us, we had anticipated that the current homeowners that had these second homes at the shore would be coming, right? Because everyone was going to be in lockdown, right? They couldn't go, kids weren't going to school. So we're like, well, are you going to hole up at your primary? You're going to hole up in the condo in the city, or are you going to come down to the beach and enjoy the boardwalk, get outside, walk around? Like, it's a no-brainer. So we had anticipated just the overall population, if you will, to increase here from that. I think like everyone, we underestimated the potential of just the sales volume that was going to occur with then people just, well, now I want to buy, right?
Yeah.
So, and what was interesting was when all that started to happen, and this is what I think really triggered it for Joe and I, was we realized the difference, the different ways we could run the business. So the pandemic started to peel away some of those layers that we were concerned about. Was like, well, we already just did this for a period of time, and when the pandemic started, so we were working differently anyway.
That's cool.
And we're like, well, wait a minute, this could work, and this platform over here with EXP makes a lot of sense for us because we're seeing the difference. So then that started a little bit of that. Well, we're doing this differently. What could we do with this? Mm-hmm. And then like Joe said, by midsummer, it was like, we could really make this work.
I didn't really think of it that way, that you guys are like birthed of the pandemic, that you're like, like this evolution into this company was something that came as a result of the pandemic, because I know that you guys are very independent thinkers, which is why when Joe reached out to me and said, all right, hey, I want to have a conversation about EXP, don't get excited. I was like, okay, yeah, you've shown me over the past year or two that you're a very independent thinker and it needs to be right for the team. And so then he goes, yeah, well, I'm ready to come aboard. I was like, for real? This is, for real now? Okay, all right. So it was a welcome and wonderful surprise, but it proves that you guys were all in it for the good of the business, all in it for the good of the team, and then just sort of unpeeling the layers back of that onion that, COVID exposed, of like, hey, there's another way that you can form and function in this business, and it could potentially work. It just showed you that.
Yeah, I think that you nailed it there, that there are other avenues or other angles you can take in the business, Michelle, that, Chris and I had our team, rocking and rolling on a certain way. And then, all of a sudden you're in a pandemic and it's like, okay, we're still functioning, but we're tweaking and fine tuning other ways. And it's like, yeah, this is, like Chris said, like we can definitely do this. And it kind of changes our model a little bit as well, where it's like, okay, we can function this way. We really can. It makes it easier for us too, and the team.
That is like not the answer I expected. And it's super cool because I didn't really realize that that's what brought it to light for you. I just, I mean, I knew that you were considering changes, but I didn't realize that was one of the big catalyst things, one of the components. So, moving right into like the next part of the conversation, then, I mean, I know you were operating in a different way, but what do you see as the potential future for, the Ferzocos? Like, what do you see there?
Well, I know that we're always looking to expand the team, Michelle, whether Chris and I are looking at administrative, ISAs, agents, things like that. We're always looking to expand that, and I think that's certainly something that, with EXP and the future of EXP and where we want to take the team, that's, our growth is really going to work lockstep with EXP in the technology aspect of it and how we can take it there. I think that's certainly something that we're going to explore. We're going to dive into, we have our, social media people and things to that nature, really diving into that aspect too, to really kind of drive that engine, of the business and the team, taking it to the next level, besides all of the normal things that we do every day that, we've all been trained to do, over the years through coaching. I think that's really kind of, one of the things that we're looking at from EXP to really pull us through the next probably 4 or 5 years, just expanding that marketplace and that volume.
Yeah. So just continue the growth of the listing and selling, but then from the technology standpoint, are you speaking more about like the CRM and lead gen tools, or are you talking about, or maybe all of it, the virtual platform that we function in? Are you you're talking about all of it, Joe?
Yeah, I think, when Chris and I really look at that, the CRM platform is huge because, one of our CRM platforms right now is really geared towards the customer service.
Yeah.
And, the ability for our, closing coordinator to function at a very high level. I mean, you're talking about, one gal, 150 minimum every year closings, and doing that, without a hitch. I mean, we've actually just brought on some part-time help for her. But it's like, okay, like how does that function? So, the Sky Slow program from EXP, so, how is that going to function with what we have? And is that maybe something we can just kind of do away with because of the programs and information that EXP has that we can just use to continue to grow rather than bringing in outside stuff, what EXP has to offer. And of course the lead gen with KB Core and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. And we have a couple of different companies that we're using. We always talk about, in our groups and stuff, Michelle, our bottom line, making more money. Okay, well, cost is on that, is in that equation as well. So, I mean, Chris, I know he really focuses on the CRM parts of it, the different companies that were brought in the past. So, he definitely has good perspective on those.
Yeah, and too, Joe, and when you think about the accessibility of just EXP, so it's not just for, and I mean this for the team and for the agents that are either going to be onboarding with us or anyone that we recruit to come to the company, that there's a place for them to go to get answers. And it's not just that reliability, which, a lot of times it's just, well, if you're in a standard typical brokerage, it's what does that broker manager say, right? What is it? What does the office tell you to do? What is that? And so there's no real, there's nothing to really expound upon, right? It's just, well, one person's opinion or position with it and one idea. So I think what's really neat about the EXP and the technology is that there's a lot of availability for those agents to get on there, right? And now they're talking to agents that are throughout the country and the world, and it's not just their own little world, right? So there's a lot of that, that to me is really impressive about from the technology front. And that, when you go back to this decision and go back to that pandemic, the idea was, when you think about it, it's not just the way real estate has been run, as we all are witnessing, is changing. So it's like, well, where's it going to go? What's the forefront?
Right.
What's tomorrow? And that's where it makes sense. That's where EXP, above all the other companies that we research or around, and look, we've been in business a long time, so we know them. This one is the visionary toward the real estate of tomorrow. And you got to get on board.
Yeah.
One of the things that you lightly touched on, Chris, which I just want to blow that piece of it up, was if you're making and I know, God, I don't have so much to say. So Joe and I have had many conversations about trimming the fat and the expenses, right, and reducing the overhead. So Joe started that conversation a long time ago of like, okay, how do we streamline this for profitability, right? And we've had those conversations so many times. And then when you take ideas of what you're going to grow in the business, hey, I've got this marketing idea, or I'm going to use Boomtown, or should I be using, Commissions Inc., or should I be using KV Core, or whatever? Like, what makes the most sense, right? When you're taking that stuff, what are you going to do normally? Take it to your broker manager and say, hey, I've got this idea for marketing. The broker manager is going to say, yeah, do it, right? It's just going to help the company sell more houses. But when you're talking about technology, now what you're saying with the collaboration that you're witnessing, and you've just been here a short amount of time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now go to people who have sold more real estate or have more years or have sold more homes, and you can ask them their vetted, tried and true opinion about what have they done in the business that's been successful. And prior to this, yes, we've been in coaching for a long time. That's how we all know each other, from years of being in coaching. But now this is another layer that you can vet things out and get that, acceleration of the business for how you want to grow and scale in a shorter path, essentially.
Yeah.
That's where technology is what you're saying. So how has that been going for you in this short amount of time that you guys have been over here? What has it been now? 2 months, maybe?
It's actually been we were talking about it earlier this morning. It was like, I think we've been here 33 days.
Oh, 30. Okay.
Great.
February, a lot has happened in 33 days.
Yeah, it's like, it's that onboarding experience, that you have, and then, which, it's a great process, that it's a great setup from a standpoint of having the amount of people that you can reach out to, Michelle, and different, from just different areas of the EXP world that you're able to reach out to, whether in all parts of the country. It just really is. It's not just your state. It's not just my state broker or people that work within the state. It's Phoenix, Florida, and that's been, we kind of talk about the pandemic and things like that, and it's like, okay, that was probably the only tricky part of it, was that we weren't able to be with the team, make the transition. It's like, back in the day, okay, we took, this is our second and our last move from one company to another. It was like, but we all moved, went to a company, people were there. This time around, you didn't have that, because everyone was kind of at their home, things to that nature, because you weren't really able to get together to move everyone together, So that was sort of tricky, but to have them be able to, and Chris touched on this, just to reach out to, to go to the world, and to reach out to the people that are going to be your onboarding team.
Yeah. And
make no mistake about it. EXP, these are the people.
Yep.
Like, you get an email and it's like, these are the people. And this is what, Shelly's doing. You know, this is what Heather's does. Like, so if you have a question, email them or meet them in the world. You know, and so it's like you're just not. Thanks for coming. You know, good luck. Figure it out. You know.
You know those phone calls you make when they say, "Oh, hold please."
Yeah.
They transfer you, and it says, "Hold please," and they transfer you. It's around you go.
Yeah.
You didn't have any of that. It was point blank. This is person. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
This is your contact.
Excellent.
They were great. Yeah, excellent. I mean, God, Chris and I remember it was a Tuesday. So we left on a Monday, and then Tuesday, we had 2 Zoom calls on Tuesday, and it was like just this. Hey, I'm not going to lie. It's an overwhelming experience when you first do it. You move in listings, you got pendings.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you have all these, you know, you've got this marketing and advertising. You want to get it out there, but at the same token, it's like, whoa, pump the brakes. So you kind of got all these different things you're trying to just control. But, you know, I remember Tuesday night, Chris, it was like, we get together every Tuesday, and it was like 6 o'clock, or like, it's like 4 or 5, it was like 6 o'clock, we get on a Zoom.
Yeah.
With someone from EXP, I think it was Shelly and Sue. Is that it, Chris? Shelly and Susan or something, you know? And they were awesome. It was like, talk about like just this calming. We talked about, you know, files, pendings, commissions, splits, all this kind, you know, because, you know, obviously you're not walking down the hall either.
Yeah.
You know, this is everything is done in the cloud, but they were just so awesome. They hooked us up. We ended up, I think it was like 7:30 because they were all West Coast. We then jumped on another one at like 7:30 Eastern. And it was just like bang, bang. And really, I would say by Friday, Chris, it was like, okay, I can go to the office Friday and I can get in the phones and I can work. Yeah. You know, and so that's, you know, that speaks volumes about, okay, Tuesday, February 2nd.
Yeah.
We're kind of in limbo because we've left waiting for the licenses, and just really, they were solid. They were rock stars, man. They were, you know, they really helped out.
I want to put that back in perspective again for people that if they're tuning in and watching this, are going to see it later. You moved a big business.
Yeah. It's not just 2 guys that you're seeing on the screen. There are 3 agents, an ISA, admins, you know, virtual assistant.
Yeah. A lot of listings, a lot of pending deals, like a lot. I did
plus million volume. Like, it's like, you know, it's not, you're not taking.
If you're thinking about doing it though, the transition is they make it virtually painless. I mean, it's like Joe said, there's a lot to do, but it's structured to a point, whereas if you just follow the structure, it smooths itself out pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's like, I think that's a refreshing thing for people to hear, because it can be very overwhelming, just the initial thought of making a move. And I think a lot of people want to make the move, but then they think about their book of business and what that's going to look like, and just I was paralyzed and frozen with fear about how much extra work you just kind of created for yourself just by simply moving brokerages.
Yeah. Well, you know, think about what Chris said, like back, you know, when we first started, you know, this conversation, you know, when we first kind of peeked around the screen, you know, in 2018, we had kind of just done this like 6 years earlier. So it's like, oof, like, do we want to do that again? But, you know, then when you get to a point where it's, all right, this is our future. This is the future of real estate. This is great for us. Yeah. You bite the bullet, as they say, and you do it. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is there anything that, you know, you want to add that I didn't ask? Because I had jotted down some questions, but you guys were like taking me there before I could go there. In conversation.
Well, I would say this, Michelle. I mean, you were fabulous. And I, you know, Christopher and I have been very fortunate to have known you for, you know, going on a good, I think 12, 13 years now. And, you know, we greatly appreciate you and everything that you did for us with the onboarding. And I would say that, you know, anyone that comes too, don't be afraid to reach out to your, you know, sponsor or something like that. Like, you know, I'm not, whatever that, like they can help you. Like I sent you a text and it was like, boom, you know, I'm on it. You know, I think that's also helpful too for people when you just know you've got this support that, they can help you, because you're right. It can be a daunting thing and a scary thing because you are moving your business, but we greatly appreciate you and everything that you did for us.
Hug, virtual hug.
Can I do that, right?
That's right. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. No, I'm excited for your future because I already, I'm getting a sense of what you guys are up to and what you're building and what you're bringing to the East Coast now. You know what I mean? And on a bigger scale than that, like you guys are making quite a splash and getting a lot of attention. Why? Because people I know that know you have called me as well, right? Of like,
we're trying.
What's going on here? These guys, what? They drink your Kool-Aid? No, it's not my Kool-Aid. But you guys are definitely changing lives, and you're doing it in a bigger way. And I'm so glad that you guys are here. And I'm glad this was like a conversation that I didn't really know going into it what you were going to say about how your onboarding experience was. But this is called being vulnerable and being straight. So
yeah.
You have it here.
That's why it's live.
Yeah, that's why.
Right, yeah. Well, we didn't know what questions you were going to ask either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, real interesting coming into this. So it was kind of, where's this going to go?
You asked me like 3 times. Do you have questions for us in advance? Can I see these questions in advance? Yeah. I was like, it's fine.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I have some.
Don't worry about it.
Don't you guys know me? Come on. You know this is going to go.
Yeah. Right. Excellent. All right. Well, if anyone wants to reach you, we can. What's the best way to get in touch with you if they got more questions about what you guys got yourselves into here with this company? What's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Chris got all that stuff.
Well, you can email us at info@theferzocogroup.com.
Okay.
You can certainly reach out directly 609-788-3786 as well.
609. What was it?
788 3786.
Okay. 3786.
Give a call.
All right. Cool. Okay. All right. Fantastic. We'll put that up here in the comments or whatever when this go at the end of it all, and then we'll see where it goes. But thanks again.
Yeah. Thanks for putting this on.
Yeah. No problem. All right. Take care. Thanks.
See you later. Bye.
See ya.
See you, Michelle. Talk to you later. Thanks.